Guys, hi everybody, welcome back. All right, so don't forget that starting tomorrow, so on February the 1st, I'll be doing a daily giveaway every single day on this series of readings. Sorry, I'm a mess. On this series of readings, and it'll go all the way until February the 14th. So it's kind of like 14 days of love, okay? Anyway, you guys, let's jump on into this bonus reading. So real quick, this one starts out with irritation. And that is, I was irritated this morning just because I took my doggy out hiking somewhere and then it proved to have not been the greatest place. Hold on, let me put that down. It felt unsafe and I was annoyed that I had to leave because other people's bad behavior were making it an unsafe place. So yeah, and granted, it's not all about Kate. The world is not all about what I want, but I will still say this feels like the wrong deck too. I will still say that there was some kind of boy, I am irritated, huh? I can't even, the deck doesn't feel right. No, it's just like you got to listen to your inner voice. If you can see somebody is not acting right because they're kind of messed up and you're the only one out there and this person is out there, it's probably safest to move along because we don't put ourselves in dangerous situations and then hang out there and be like, well, I hope nothing goes wrong, so we had to leave. And yet I was annoyed that I felt compelled to have to leave, but we have balance. So quit being annoyed, Kate, and get balanced, right? No, it's interesting. If someone is feeling a sense of annoyance, it may be that they need to get themselves into this place of harmony. And you notice how this is such a cool card because it looks like this gigantic hat that she's wearing, but it's a cloud. And then, of course, we have different phases of the moon hanging like, little pendulums. And she's holding the moon in her hands. This is very much to see that many of the moon cards here. This is getting in balance with all of those deeper inner hidden emotions. So there's a lot going on for somebody. So if this reading starts out with an essence of irritation, and that's I always do these readings based off of something that actually happened in my life, and then we see if that factors into a story at all. All of these, how many do we have? We have 6, 7, 8 moons here in some one of their phases. And the moon card typically always indicates things that are hidden from view, the deep emotions, the things that have a huge pull on us, because literally, the moon itself, of course, has a gravitational effect on the earth and produces the high tides and low tides of the planet, right? Of the oceans. So this is all about trying to get into balance and harmony with all of these suppressed emotions. But as I said, I'm starting out talking about annoyance, irritation. So although I made the right choice today, I was still annoyed by the choice that I had to make. Someone might be annoyed even as they are getting themselves into balance. It's like, oh my gosh, there's all this stuff I have to work through. There's all these emotions I have to work through. I'm frustrated with past choices I made or the choices I currently have to make because of past choices and where that put me. I feel like it's one of those where someone is, I think this is like somebody is having to like look at their behaviors. We've got, oh my gosh, seriously, it says again, look, and this is the 6 of coins. This is all about, again, balance, right? 6 of coins is about equal give and take. It's about balance. We have the Emperor in the upright, and we have the Temperance card. Everything, no joke, even though we've changed to a completely different deck at this point, everything still carries the same message. We have 2 cards of balance, basically what I consider the major arcana for balance and then the minor. And we began with the word balance. And it's all about someone is stepping into their Emperor energy. And in order to do that, they have to, I feel like this is someone being the bookkeeper of their life, right? So if we've made mistakes along the way, we have to deal with every single one of those. We have to make them right in the ledger. And I think that this is somebody who is perhaps frustrated and stressed because they have been working on all of these different things and they've been under a cloud, right? Her hat is a cloud. What's on this person's mind? This person might have been working through some of their shadowy self for quite some time. This is like, we can't even see this person's face. This is like a call it a rain cloud or a blockage, but they've been weighed down by past things that they've done, and they've been making things right one piece at a time. But if there's any element of frustration, it is that this is taking so much time to get things balanced, because we still see this gigantic moon up here and it's bigger than all the others. So someone holds in their hands a smaller version of it. Okay, so the moon is also something I look at as an element of loneliness. The man on the moon is kind of like the lonely figure up there all by themselves. There is this element where I think someone had to do all of this, making things right one piece at a time. Like, maybe this is almost like a 12-step program or something, where as somebody is healing themselves, fixing pieces of their life that they want to make right, maybe they are also having to apologize and make things right with lots of different aspects of their life. The frustration may be directed at self because this is taking so long, but it is also a very necessary process, because an emperor owns their behavior. An emperor, they own it. I did it. I got to fix it. And it's one piece at a time. You don't just get to, jump to the big thing that you want. You have to handle all these other little details first. I think that this is somebody who made a big fat mess somewhere in their life, and they are cleaning it up one very small piece at a time. But there's this huge sense of the fact that it says something, and again, look. We can't see the other part of the word that's written above that eyebrow, but we see the word again, look. This is it's interesting to see that scratched above the eyebrow there. I feel like they think that they've handled everything. They think that they've cleaned up all their mess, and then they realize, no, there's still more that I got to deal with. I think that this person, if they are trying to improve themselves, improve their life, shed problems, own the mistakes that they made, I think every time they think that they're just about done, something else pops up, and it's like, crap, I got to deal with that now too. I think this is like somebody's personal path toward really getting balanced in themselves. If you notice, we actually have a paintbrush up here with a whole palette. And then, of course, we have the galaxy behind her. This is like when we are able to paint a new life, anything that's creative. This is somebody where if they're going to be able to create a new life for themselves, it has to be one that is truly based upon balanced emotions, a balanced life. They can't have these major, like if this person did somebody else wrong in the past, they have to make it right with that person. If they did you wrong in the past, they might not be able to make things right with you until they make things right with 5 other pieces of their life. This is somebody that, the only reason I say this is because we started out with balance, but we don't see real balance here. We see all of this work that has to be done in order to get to balance. And we see all of these changes, all of these different phases in somebody's life where maybe they made a bunch of mistakes that have trailed behind them. This is somebody who, those unpaid parking tickets that they didn't pay for in that other country. So now they can't travel there. So now they can't have a passport because they didn't handle business. They didn't tidy up the mess that they made all those years ago in wherever they were. So now they can't travel. Well, to be in a relationship with you, you live someplace else. How are they going to travel to get to you when they can't get a passport? That's a major obstacle. I'm saying that this is like a story where we have all these pieces that in order for anything to go right in this person's world, they have to make everything right. That sounds like a big, tall order, but this is an emperor we're talking about. An emperor makes it all right. An emperor goes through all the mistakes as a page, all the mistakes they made as knights, all the mistakes they've made as kings, and that's how you become an emperor, is because you don't run from your past, you deal with it. You set it straight. It doesn't mean we don't make mistakes. It means we do what the real work to make things right. However, tell me, why did I start this out with frustration? Like I said, I had to leave something today because it was not safe, and I knew that. And I was annoyed that I had to, but I had to. So 3 of Swords, somebody is annoyed because there's a gigantic heartbreak here, a gigantic betrayal. And we have a stamp here that says Universal Fool written way down here at the bottom of this postage stamp. And we have on this postage stamp somebody who's literally taking a step off a ledge. Somebody is frustrated because I think that they broke somebody's heart through their actions. Maybe they did make a gigantic mistake, universal fool, and it's on a postage stamp. This is like, maybe this was like a letter that was sent that they didn't respond to in time, or the way they should have, or the way in retrospect they know they could have. Or this is somebody who took a leap of faith in the wrong direction, broke somebody's heart, betrayed somebody. Whatever this is, the fact that it's a postage stamp, we only have to use stamps when we're mailing something. That means we're not talking directly. That also means that this is going a distance. We have distance. We have someone who has made mistakes. All I can say is with universal fool. And that's what I'll probably entitle this reading. They've made mistakes all over the place. Their entire universe, they keep making these mistakes. And I think that that's the sense of frustration. In making all these mistakes, they didn't just screw up something in their life. They hurt somebody. There's also somebody who's sitting here, just head in their hands, like, I can't believe I did this. This is the frustration, is that somebody ruined a relationship. They hurt someone that they really loved. And if you notice, we actually have the back of a car here, a bumper with little streamers, like this is somebody that they wanted to marry, could have married, were married to, whatever this was. That's what they broke. They broke a connection that was like their everything. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is a big bad. No wonder they're frustrated. They're frustrated with themselves. They messed up the relationship that was like the one. Four of Wands is here. Four of Wands. This is all about, look at this. Look at all the clocks. Look at this, joyful motion. This is the marriage card, right? This is almost like in every timeline, in every lifetime, they wanted to be with this person. This is something that, for some reason, it never quite comes together, though. All this time has passed, and all these hopes and dreams and lots of opportunities have been there to be with this person. And they still see this as the person that they want to be with. But this has been a situation where apparently this is with the Princess of Coins in the reverse. I think that they know someone has waited for them to show up for so long, thinking that any day now, you're going to get this right. Any day now, this is going to happen. And instead, time just keeps passing, and life keeps changing too, because every time we see one of those clocks, this is opportunities to get it right that just get passed by. Opportunities to come back together, and someone doesn't. Someone doesn't. No wonder this is such deep frustration. They betrayed somebody, and then they didn't get their act together and come in and fix it. So huge delays. Why did this happen? Why were there huge delays? Seven of Wands, because there were nothing but blockages here. And we have somebody who's out here fencing. Someone has been very, instead of dealing with stuff, fixing stuff, they were just defensive. When we're simply defensive instead of choosing to work on things, somebody refused to see the mistakes they've made. They got defensive. They didn't want to look at the mistakes they made. I think this is somebody who would make a mistake and then just be like, I'm not going to own that. I don't want to. That's embarrassing. I just simply act like I didn't make a mistake. And they might have gotten through that in life for a long time, or so they thought. So this person might have accrued a ton of problems, a ton of problems. For them to have the Balance card, then the Six of Coins, then the Temperance card, and an Emperor, this is saying somebody had a lot to fix. And we have Balance coming out 3 times. That means there were supreme imbalances. If it's got to keep coming out saying, Emperor, you got to get this right. You've got to balance stuff out in your life. You have all of these things that you basically, I don't know, I feel like this person played fast and loose. I feel like this person, they did whatever they wanted to. Maybe they swaggered around, acted like, whatever, I can't get in trouble for that. Yes, you did. Yeah, but nothing's really come of it, so it doesn't matter. Yes, it does matter. It will catch up to you. All the things that you didn't take care of on time. And this could be anything stupid from, you didn't file this paperwork on time, and then eventually it comes back to bite you 2 years later. You get pulled over because you don't have new tags on your car. You didn't bother to do that. You knew you needed to. You decided you didn't feel like it. Now you got a ticket. You don't pay the ticket. You don't do the class or whatever it is. Now when you get pulled over, guess what? They take away your license. It's like they can go from just a slippery slope from bad to worse because they acted like they were untouchable, maybe is what it seems like. And all of that, eventually, what came to a head was all of those. Remember Universal Fool, all those mistakes they made throughout their universe that they walked through, stepping off of ledges instead of realizing, what am I doing? I can't just, it's like somebody really thought they could do whatever they wanted and there would be no accountability. But I think it all came to a head, possibly right at the time where they found the person that they wanted to be with most. And all of a sudden, the universe dumps all of this, like, hey, guess what? Remember all those 22 years of unpaid parking tickets and undealt with this and the problems that you created there and all those things that you wouldn't own up to? You're going to have to own up to it now. And it's like, now at a time when I met the person that I want to be with. And I think that this has been a lot to fix. And I think this person was very defensive. And I feel like this has been over and over and over again. We see the repeating clocks. We see the repeating moons. We see the repeating balance cards. We see now 7 of Wands with her in all of these various fencing poses. I feel like someone was so defensive over and over and over again about these things instead of just dealing with them. So it pushed them further and further away from being able to have this amazing relationship, and it betrayed the relationship more and more. I think that this was not the kind of relationship where somebody was just out, oh, I'm just out, running around with a ton of different people. It's more like somebody they thought that they were above the law, maybe above, having to operate the way we have to operate in society. They didn't do the things that they were supposed to. And they got away with it for so long until finally, just at the moment that they meet the right person or that they're in a relationship that's starting to go really good, because this is what they wanted. Yet we have all of these missed opportunities, and to get this thing going right, they still don't give the offer, but they want to over and over and over and over again. And no matter what, this is the relationship somebody wants. But they made an epic set of mistakes over and over again that caught up to them. And because of that, and because they won't own up to everything they do, I don't think this person will admit it to the person that they're in love with, to the person that they want to be married to. I think this person even said, I want to get married. And then why didn't that happen? Well, because they have a whole bunch of messes that they didn't admit to and that they haven't wanted to admit to. They've been too, no, I'm not telling you that. That's embarrassing because I didn't take care of business when I could have and I should have. So now I'm like it's like somebody, got like a slap on the wrist and they feel super embarrassed about that. So they don't want to admit it. But in being defensive about all the mistakes they made for what seems like kind of dumb reasons right now. I mean, sorry, that just sounds super rude, but I'm just saying dumb because it's more like this was, I don't know, maybe somebody was slightly rebellious and they were just like, thumbing their nose, and I don't have to do that. Well, you kind of do have to do that. You kind of do have to have a license if you're going to be driving. It's just how it is. There's certain things that you just, why don't be a rebel there that just is stupid, because all it does is it prevents you from being able to achieve all the other things that you want. Like, be a rebel for a better cause, I guess is what I would say out of this. But this person wasn't. They were a rebel, really kind of like swaggering kind of rebel. They could do whatever they wanted. Maybe they were, an emperor. They could come from like a fairly affluent background or something. Maybe this is somebody who's, whatever, like the I'm in charge, blah blah blah. I don't have to listen to what anybody else says. I do what I want to. Well, it doesn't work that way in society. It feels like somebody made a bunch of mistakes that caught up with them, and they all of a sudden had to deal with all of it, and it is taking time. And every time they think they're done, they have to look again. Nope, there's something else they didn't take care of yet. Nope, there's something else they still didn't take care of. And this could be about money. This could be about stuff that spans other countries. And I only say this because we have we saw Universal Fool on the other card, and on the Temperance card, we have like an entire galaxy. I feel like this person made mistakes and messes in different places in their life, different times of their life, maybe things that have caught up to them. They owe debt on this that they didn't pay for. They didn't finish paying off their schooling. So in that other state, they now have a bunch of, debt that they owe, or, just those kinds of, it's life stuff. It's not the end of the world, but for this person who thought they were above it all and could get away with anything, The fact that they can't could be extremely frustrating, and because they know they did it to themselves. We have 10 of Wands. We have the Sun card. We have the Hanged One. So there is an opportunity, and it's funny because she has like a mud mask, like to pull impurities out of the skin on this. For this 10 of Wands, and 10 of Wands is about pulling out the toxins, pulling out the things that are like, we don't want that kind of burden on us anymore. There's also like the burning skyscrapers. It's like you can build things up so tall and so high, but even then sometimes things are just, it's not right, it's just not working. It's funny. I said that was a mud mask. She's actually, it's like more like she's a part of a statue, but then the part of her that has come to life is the eyes and the mouth. This actually could carry two different meanings. If it's a statue coming to life, then we actually have somebody who's been made of stone, who is starting to burn down all those obstacles, maybe all the ego. Skyscrapers can talk, about like our self-perception and our ego and all the things that we've been swaggering around, acting like I'm the best, I'm the greatest, nothing can touch me. This might be, again, evidence of somebody where they're not untouchable. In fact, that statue kind of attitude, I'm made of stone, nothing bugs me. This person is starting to actually, I think because they're being hit with all the mistakes they made, and they're having to make them right, and they're having to own the fact that all those mistakes led them to hurting the person they really wanted to be with, betraying a relationship that they really wanted to be with, and having to admit, I did that. I am responsible for that. I think the statue, the stone person, is finally turning into flesh and blood. Now, I'm still going to stick with my first interpretation here as well, of it like a mud mask to pull out impurities, because when we are dealing with things like the 10 of Wands, it is stuff that we've got to let go of. We got to get that stuff out of us. To have the Sun coming up next, somebody knows exactly what they're doing. And we started out, even though I kept talking about what is all the frustration about, why do we have the need for so much balance, what was imbalanced, you notice that first lineup of cards is wonderful. It is all about becoming balanced. They're making things right, one piece at a time. They are standing in the Emperor energy. They're willing to own their mistakes finally. And they have been working through it, I think, painstakingly. But as they are, this is all part of somebody's process to become a better person, to become a more truly mature person, not a bossy person who's arrogant, but rather a mature individual. They now are actually, for all the trials and tribulations and even the frustrations, I think this person is getting to be happier than they've ever been with themselves, making things right, not having things hanging over their head. Now, as I say, hanging over their head, we have the Hanged Man. There is still something that they haven't been able to come forward yet, or they haven't been able to fix one final piece of the equation. They're getting direction. They're building up their confidence. They're letting go of things. They're becoming less stone and more flesh and blood, more like sensitive, more able to, I feel like this person is actually starting to, throughout this whole process, they're starting to like themselves a little bit more. I think that they had to face some stuff. Let me see. Tell me about the Hanged One. What's the Hanged One about? We've got the Three of Coins, and then we've got the King of Wands, but in the reverse. So they want badly to cooperate and work on something, but King of Wands in the reverse, there's that arrogance. Okay. This is like, I want to plant a garden with you. I want to see it grow. I want to work hard to come together. But with this Hanged Man, there's this element of, they're thinking about things from two different sides, right? This is where we have to make a choice, and they're kind of delaying. They're cleaning up all these other areas of their life. They know what they want, but then why do we have this dose of arrogance sitting here? I wonder if you are the most difficult part for them to have to face consequences for, if facing you is the piece that has been the most, I want to say, like, on one hand, you were their catalyst to have to deal with all of this. on the other hand, they can't be with you unless they put all these other things right in their life. So then they can be like in an open, straightforward, honest relationship without all these blockages, without all this drama, without all this luggage that they've been hauling around, and to quit being so full of themselves. But if that is possible, they get to this point where there's still this let me see, with the King of Wands. Tell me the King of Wands, because that's where they still have some kind of arrogance. Four of Swords. Lot to heal. A lot to heal. King of Wands in the reverse with the Four of Swords, and we have little babies in this tree of life. There's an awful lot of what I would say, I would almost say that they are afraid that you will be frustrated or irritated, or hold on. We got something else that I'm not getting here. We have Ace of Wands. We have a High Priestess in the upright. I kind of have this, if they're pausing and thinking about things, like they're getting their life settled. I mean, this is going to sound like a weird, harsh message, but on one part of themselves, they want to come in and cooperate. On the other part, they're like, but what if being around you is maybe going to flare up my arrogance, because I'm going to know that there's still a whole bunch of stuff that has to be healed, but I'm still passionate about you. But there's so many things that I feel like they think that you're superior to them. Like even that you might sit there and go, well, I told you so. I think that this person, I think they're worried that they will have that bubble of arrogance because you'll like influence them to tell them like, yeah, you still have a bunch of healing to do with me, or blah, blah, blah. Or, like, I told you so. I knew you had to fix all those things. I think that they're almost afraid that you can see through them, but they're so drawn to you at the same time. This is a complicated emotions that they have for you, because somehow you make them feel, I'm going to say, like competitive, or give them this jealous streak even. And jealous combined with competitive, and that's something that still needs to be healed. Are they ready to take on that final thing? It's not that it's your fault that makes them feel that way. This person's super, super drawn to you, but it's like they want you to see them as this amazing person. But everything they've done here has not been amazing until they started to fix the things in their life that they needed to fix. But a betrayal against someone that they wanted to be with so much, I almost feel like this person is like, you're so much, there's so much energy and emotion that I have for you. It's almost more than what I can deal with. And I don't know if you know how intense this connection is in this story. It's like this person has such a blend of desire, a desire to heal it, a desire to be back with you, a desire to have you see them in the right light, a desire to, well, they can't help but feel jealous too, because you didn't have to fix all the things in your life that they did. So now they're at like a lower level. You're kind of like, they may be viewing you as superior. They're viewing you as someone who doesn't know everything, but somehow you seem to be able to look into them. You got kind of a, because the high priestess sees the things that aren't really visible. They see you as somebody that they know that you would help them continue to heal somehow, but there's also this passionate, it's like you have been exactly what they wanted all along, but they had so many other mistakes that they'd made that they didn't want to own up to. Now that they have dealt with all of it, they would still have to come clean on all that and still have to heal stuff with you. All the while, you didn't have to deal with that stuff. Half of you knew, like in a subtle way, you kind of knew that this person had some kind of a train wreck that they needed to get cleaned up. But now they'd have to tell you everything. And now comes this element of, they also don't know, what will you do? What will you do? Will you want them the same way? It's like this person wants a reassurance that you want me the same way I want you, despite everything that has happened, despite all the messes that I've made. Because I feel like this is the one big flare of ego that's combined with fear, that's combined with embarrassment, that's combined with desire that they hold on to, and that's associated with you. I think this person has done a lot of other work in this story to make all these other things in their life right. But now you are the kryptonite. You are the thing where it's like, I want so badly to come in and just be peaceful and work on things and develop something amazing. But on the other side of, yeah, that's what I want, but I know I can't get there unless I deal with this. And what will happen? There's a big, huge mystery here because they don't know what you'll do. They don't know, do you have passion for me? Will you have passion for me? How will I react to you? I think that they don't know how they'll behave if they're around you. Star in the reverse, Hierophant upright. Oh my goodness, my goodness. And here we have like the third eye is really visible on that Hierophant. Star card in the reverse. The star card is all about a wish fulfillment. It's about healing things. And that's in the reverse. And yet the Hierophant is in the upright. What if they can't heal things with you, even though they're completely convinced that you're the one that they want to marry? What do they do if this is all just a missed opportunity? So I think that the thing making somebody hold back is, after all the things that I've had to fix and clean up, I can put everything else, all those other broken pieces, I've been able to glue them back together. I've been able to make things right. Look at how much balance we had, right? We had 3 balance cards. We have an Emperor. And now the Emperor says the final thing that I have, now that I've made all these other things in my life right, now that I have the freedom to come toward you, I've ended old relationships or, paid old debts, put things right. I don't have legal issues holding over my head anymore. I don't have any of those things. I made them right. The one thing I haven't made right is the fact that I betrayed you, and you're the one that I wanted to marry all along. You're the one that I didn't give that promise to. You're the one I was defensive against, even though I now know that that's my final thing. And they're a combination of so elated and so excited that they can finally come forward, but then they freeze and go, are we going to be able to work on things, or is it going to crack open a whole nother layer of stuff that I got to heal? And what if my arrogance pops back up? I almost think this person is worried. Like, what if all the work I've been doing, all of a sudden it just kicks me into like, oh, I'm an arrogant jerk all over again, and I'm going to have to heal some more. But in the meantime, I'm so passionate. I feel like this person has so much like emotion and so much desire for a situation. And the greatest fear is one or the other. This will be a missed opportunity. I will never be able to heal it. Or we can finally, you'll understand with that intuitive energy, you'll understand that you have always been the one I wanted to marry. Either you will understand that, or you will kick me to the curb and say, never again. And they know it could go either way. So their pause here is every bit as much about that. Will we be married, or will we never speak again if I come forward? That's where the Hanged Man comes in, is the sitting, paused, not knowing what will happen. So again, makes sense, the sense of frustration. So what is this person going to do? They're going to go ahead and make some kind of a decision. We got the 7 of Cups in the reverse, and what was underneath that? The King of Swords in the reverse. That's not good. That's not good. A decision to not speak. A decision to not step up. Well, then they didn't ever get to the Emperor. They only made other things in their life right, but not the thing that mattered the most. This is a 10 of Cups, and it's in the reverse. And even if it had been in the upright, there's still grief and pain here written on this. 6 of Cups in the reverse. They're trying to run from this. They're still trying to run from this. 6 of Cups in the reverse says, I don't want to own up to what I've done. I don't want to face you. I don't want to own up to the things that I would need to do to make anything right. I don't want to do that. Maybe I can just pretend that you aren't a soulmate. So again, this is coming out like you are a kryptonite for them. Prince of Swords. No, I'm going to watch you from afar. I'm going to spy. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch you from the shadows. Then this person is not an emperor. That's not what an emperor does. We finally get to the Princess of Wands. We finally start to move toward, okay, but it's weird because we see her back. Princess of Wands is taking action. It's like a Page of Wands. So still's only a page, but at least we go from, I think this person's been trying to convince themselves, no, this wasn't you know what, I can let this go. It wasn't important, but then why can't I stop staring at you? Why can't I stop looking at you? Okay, maybe I need to come towards you, but I'm backing up towards you. It's like this person is still afraid to admit that they keep coming towards you anyway. Oh my gosh. This is ridiculous. We have Magician. We also have Empress in the reverse. Empress in the reverse with the Magician in the upright. After we see this Princess of Swords, I think that this person is like, Empress in the reverse can be like a very clinging energy, but this can also feel like this is somehow, some way, I don't know if this will make any sense, but this person got one area of their life right. Okay. But remember how this whole reading has been about balance. And we've only been talking about it like, paying off debts, getting things right, not being defensive. So maybe now they can come back in. This, whatever all the problems were that they had, that they've been making balanced, they took charge of it with the divine masculine energy. They handled their business. They paid those debts. They took care of stuff. But when it comes to them being emotionally ready to have a new beginning, to be open, to be loving, there's their divine feminine energy, and that's still in the reverse. I think this is I said you're their kryptonite because I said that in one other reading not too long ago. Because they can get every other thing in their life right, but then they have all this emotion for you. And that's the big scary for this person. They've even tried to convince themselves that, nope, this wasn't a relationship that I needed to go back to because it's giving me too much anxiety to think about coming in to make things right with you. So obviously then that must not be for me. But then they can't stop thinking, they can't stop watching. And now they're even kind of like, without them knowing it, they're backing their way towards you, but they're still feeling not good enough. Finally, though, with this Magician, the Magician could be a breakthrough. I almost feel like the closer this person gets to you, and remember, you've come across as the High Priestess, and now I feel like you're the Magician too. The High Priestess and the Magician are a married couple, but they're like the magical married couple, whereas the Emperor and the Empress are like the 3D version of a married couple, right? The ultimate relationship. The fact that we have the Magician and the High Priestess here, and those are both in the upright, and I think both of those represent you. Meanwhile, both of the Emperor and Empress represent them. They're out of whack with their softer side, their more loving, tender side, their feminine energy of like being able to accept love. I think this person has thought that there's no way you could love me, so there's no point in me coming back in. I think that's what they've been doing, is trying to tell themselves, no, it would probably be, it's too risky because you might tell me to get lost, or you might tell me that you still want me and want to marry me, but I don't even want to find out the truth. That's where they're out of whack. Meanwhile, you are the Magician. You may be reeling this person in this story. Our second character is, I think, reeling this person in because this is a master manifester, right? That's what the Magician does. You've come across as extremely energetically powerful. They've come across as somebody who's been working on 3D stuff in life. Not that we don't all work on both, right? Four of Coins. This is holding on. There has been a holding on energy. This I feel like we have had a ton of growth in one area for this person, and then we've also had a ton of stagnancy and a ton of fear only as it pertains to you. That's one area they can't seem to get balanced in. If you are holding on, but are you also holding back? Let me see. Because something needs to change here. We have a King of Coins in the reverse. This is definitely holding back. So what's the remedy here? What's the remedy here? The remedy here is the Prince of Wands. This is like the Knight of Wands. This is following the heart, wherever the heart leads. So the remedy for this, I don't know whose side it's on, but the remedy in general is having the courage to just see what happens, follow one's heart, say what's on one's heart. Don't think, let the heart lead. Quick, turn off the big brain and just go with what the heart says. And maybe because we see on this side of the equation, we see you calling this person in, but still then holding back. So it's a lot of mixed signals, just like they are all confused about what to do. Prince of Cups that comes out like kind of a sideways angle here, but mostly reversed. If we're following our heart, doesn't mean that we are just going to immediately give somebody all of our trust and love again. But somebody has to make a move here. Somebody has to make a move. And we've got the Two of Wands. Yeah, we can't know what's going to happen until action is actually taken. So this person, they know this. They know that if they're going to ever figure out what's going to happen next, they have to simply take action. And then, and only then, can the two of you decide what actions will come of this. So I don't know if anybody's going to ever make the move. But in this story, we certainly see that despite everything that somebody had to work on in their life, you're the one thing that on one hand matters the most and the one thing that they're most afraid of. So they keep sabotaging this because they're not coming in, you know. But at this point, at the end of all this, it's like you got to quit thinking and you got to just take some action and go see what happens. But I guess the other message in that is for both people to get out of their heads. If they're going to have any interaction, it has to be like, okay, let's see how our hearts feel. Let's go with that part first and then see what comes out of this. I don't know. A big messy story for sure. All right, you guys take care. Thanks for being here. Thanks for liking, sharing, subscribing, all that jazz. All right, bye.